I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. My family part of the white flight in the 1950s to the county. I returned to the city in the 60s to go to high school and never left. This is my story about a dynamic that disrupts people's lives that can be prevented from happening with care and intention. The Gentrification Not Project.
How would you define the term gentrification?
It's a rough neighborhood, then the artists move in, and then the artists get forced out. So the original inhabitants get moved out, and then the artists move in, and then the artists get pushed out, and then the next level, economic level, moves in.
Is a process of development creates features that make it so that people can't afford to remain in a neighborhood.
Change.
We are broadcasting live actually from Station North Arts Cafe, and with me is WEAA's own Mark Steiner, who joins me as co-host today.
It's my pleasure to be here with the Queen of Dark 30.
This is a really important issue that we want to discuss today.
It is, and in Baltimore, like all over America, the issue of what happens to poor communities, working class communities, when they're redeveloped is a centerpiece to the future. And we're sitting in the middle of one, and one of the people who's been here a long while doing this is a man I've known for even longer than he's had this business.
And who has allowed us
Kevin
to
Brown.
share his premises this morning.
Welcome to Station North.
I love your place. This is
Thank you so much.
What was the feel of the community in terms of families, in terms of those who got up every morning, this time, Dark 30, going to work and traveling? What were the things that they could depend on within the 4-block area that they lived in?
There was a core here, and there's still a core here. And I think what's not happening is that they're not looking at the core and building out from what the core constituencies want in a neighborhood, whether it's a barbershop, a dry cleaner, a tattoo parlor, you know, the basics.
Yeah.
They're bringing what they, when I say they, I mean outside developers, people who own property here who don't live here, people who own property here who don't work here. You know what I mean? They're not a full part of the tapestry. They're not a thread in the tapestry of the community. That in itself is creating a lot of the problem.
One of the things that helps us to better understand is someone who actually has worked and has been an activist, and we'd like to introduce, joining us right now, Dr. Judith Lombardi. Judy, I want to ask you first, you along with Kevin and others have seen a part of the transition, and in fact has led to the foundation of a particular project. It's called the Gentrification Not, and I spelled K-N-O-T.
I love that name.
Yeah, isn't that's really unique? Welcome, Judy.
That's our starting point for the Gentrification Not project. We wanted to be really clear about what we meant by the term gentrification. In fact, that emerged in a conversation here at Station North Arts Cafe between Kevin and I back in August, I think it was, where we had a really good argument about what is meant by gentrification.
Who were you arguing with?
We were arguing with each other.
Yeah. Okay, great, okay.
It was delightful. I love it. We hashed out over, I guess, a week period of time.
Seemed longer.
Yes, it did. What we came up with was pretty much a traditional definition of the term gentrification. And gentrification, and particularly for this project, because we don't want to argue about
The definition.
what it is. We want to move forward about when is it not. And it's a complicated thing, which is the not, K-N-O-T.
Get to it, Judy.
Okay, I'm going. I'm telling a story. People like stories.
So I would like to just tell one little story. On December 1st, 1955, at about 5 p.m., at the end of the day, Mrs. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus. Joanne Robinson and a whole group of people went that night to the local college and ran off 50,000 leaflets and started leafleting the neighborhood to boycott the buses on Monday morning, December 5th. Now this is Thursday night she got arrested, right? And allow a little bit of time for everybody making the decision that they're going to do the boycott. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday to organize the boycott of the buses. And we all know that at 6 a.m. on Monday morning, December 5th, Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King were on the porch of their house waiting for the buses to go by, and it was really tense. Would people stay off the buses? 50,000 black people in Montgomery, Alabama stayed off the buses for more than a year. 50,000 people were mobilized in 3 days. That's the size of the networks that the African American community had in 1955. We do not have those networks now after this whole series of policies has torn our neighborhoods apart. That's the crisis that we're in. It's not that we don't know how to network. It's not that we haven't built networks. It's that our networks have been systematically destroyed over and over and over and over again. It's this whole series, serial forced displacement, that we must defeat.
What's gentrification?
Yeah.
Oh, like, do you want me to judge it? Like, how do I feel about it?
If you think it means one thing and I think it means another, and it doesn't point to a particular dynamic, then how do we change that dynamic?
I think that migration has always been like a part of like human beings and our nature. So we migrate. Now that we live in societies where we have like commerce and we have like exchange or whatever, a lot of it isn't about necessity, and you know, there's a lot of luxury attached to it. So I think it's different. I don't think it's forever. I think we're gonna migrate to space.
As we revitalize and change and grow and migrate, how can we do that without pushing people out of the neighborhood who want to stay in the neighborhood?
Yeah. We need a new word.
You have a new word?
No, I don't have one, but
Okay.
I just want to make up a new word. That's
All right.
I
Well,
didn't
let's
say
work.
let's
Well,
change
then
the
that's your.
name to gentrification.
Then
I
why
said,
don't
let's
you?
make up a new
All right.
word.
Let's.
Reinvigoration. Yeah. Something, but brand new, maybe even. Like,
Well, I think you just figured out how you can help us and participate in this process.
This is my story about a dynamic that disrupts people's lives that can be prevented from happening with care, intention, and reflective actions. The Gentrification Not Project.